I've made a tier list of the existing 23 DLCs in the Elder Scrolls Online. Not all DLCs have been created equal. I feel like adding dungeons to the game is great. It adds new motifs and things, but everything else adds zones and systems and things like that. Acknowledging that, yeah, dungeons are fun and some of them are better than others. Some of them give better items than others and things like that. But again, they don't add new zones. They don't add new systems. They don't add a lot of new things to the game. And if I just kind of look at them, I'm going to kind of go after this in the order things came out. The first DLC that ever came out for the game added a new PvP zone, a new quest, a new way to do world PvP, Imperial City, the first and last real addition to PvP other than when Battlegrounds were added to the game. I think we have to give Imperial City, even though it's more maybe older, kind of its due with an A rank, just because it did add a lot to the PvP scene, and I think that's really important. Kind of in that whole year one thing, the next thing they added is Orcidium. Orcidium is another really solid A rank for me. Orcidium has one of the few, it's kind of like Chapter 0, an amazing zone. It added Maelstrom Arena, which is still, people like to push scores in there. You need to go there to get a lot of best in slot gear. It's still very important to the game. It has amazing dungeon design and has a storyline that is around tradition versus change, around different religions and things like that. And it really let us explore the Orcimer, the orcs, in a way that no Elder Scroll game has before. The next one that came in was the Thieves Guild. Thieves Guild for me, while it is fun, the zone is very short, very small. Added some thieving systems, but none of them are really super great. I mean, they do help with ledger main and things like that. It does have a kind of a unique quest structure. The NPCs, while fun, are a little more forgettable. Of all things, it ends up being a relatively weak installment of DLC, especially when you compare it to Dark Brotherhood. Dark Brotherhood is also a smaller zone. However, it added some very memorable and unique characters to the game. Elam Dross is still kicking in expansion, still loved. Very important abilities. You can get really amazing furnishing items from being part of the Dark Brotherhood. You can reduce the threat range from NPCs and hostile mobs from the skill line that you get from it. It adds the Blade of Woe to the game, which if you're stealing, honestly adds more to stealing than the Thieves Guild did, because it's all about the grab, and then the stab. Dark Brotherhood, for all that it added, is a solid B rank, which means the next thing they add to the game is Morrowind. Morrowind, like Orcidium before it, now it's actually part of a year-long chapter system that they started doing, but like Orcidium before it, it adds a ton of sky shards, public dungeons. Its new system that it added to the game was the Warden class, which is still a very used, very popular class. The nostalgia of Morrowind, getting to see Vivek before the events that transpire in Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. It has a strong emotional storyline. Honestly, I bounce back and forth, especially because of the Warden class. I think it's an early S. It also boasts arguably the best location to do writs on your alts, because the bank is outside, the mount training is right there. It's very close to the Outlaws Refuge, and they were really kind of coming into their own with map design. Clockwork City kind of wrapped up that story. It came with two new delves. It's a smaller zone like Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild before it. It does have Asylum Sanctorium, which is a smaller trial, which is a really good trial, honestly, to get into trials. I feel like AS is an amazing trial to get into trials because of the size of it. Clockwork City is the expansion that gave us the Transmute Station, and the Transmute Station really improved overall game. Being able to not have to farm until you get the exact trait you need and be able to retrait things was really, really important. However, due to the size of the zone and the overall things that added, it's hard for me to rank it above B rank. Okay, I had forgotten that Morrowind is where Battlegrounds came in. Battlegrounds, that's huge. Yeah, Morrowind is a hard, solid S rank. Somerset, which also includes Artaeum, did give us a new skill line in the form of the Sigic Order. It had a storyline that let us deal with Clavicus Vile, Mephala, and Nocturnal, and actually visit some of those realms. It introduced some amazing characters to the game, such as Alchemy. In addition, we got Cloud Rest, a new trial. We got jewelry crafting skill line. The zone is gorgeous. The world bosses are super well designed. They're some of the better world bosses in the game still. I put Somerset definitely in an A rank. I think with jewelry crafting, we have to rank it up above Orcidium, even if I like the Orcidium story a little bit better. What I think I'm actually going to do is I'm going to rename Dungeon DLC, but it's hard to rank dungeons against anything else. So this is not a D rank. I'm not ranking these below everything. This is just kind of its own designator, I think, on this. Murkmire came next. So the one thing about Somerset and Murkmire is Morrowind. We basically got some stuff after Orcidium that kind of let us know eventually Morrowind was coming. And Morrowind kind of flowed into Clockwork City. And Somerset had its own kind of pacing. But unlike the chapters that came before, the chapter that came before and the chapters that would come after, Murkmire kind of feels it's its own DLC, but it doesn't feel as connected. It's fun. It's kind of a difficult zone to navigate, but honestly, I kind of feel like Murkmire, while it's a pretty zone and it does have memorable quests, ultimately kind of felt to me lacking as a zone. I think it was better than the Thieves Guild. But I think a lot of things people love about Murkmire come down to some of the housing and stuff in it, which wasn't part of the base DLC. It kind of suffers from not being as connected as Clockwork City is to Morrowind. That took us into Northern Elsewhere. Elsewhere is where they started the year-long story that was a lot more, I felt, thought out. We got Sunspire, which is an amazing trial. It added a new class. It gave us the Necromancer class. It was the last new class that we would get. But so we got Sunspire, we got Dragon Attacks, we got the Necromancer. The story is really well told. We helped somebody reclaim their throne. The side quests were really exciting, really funny and fun. Every side quest seemed to be really thought out. There was not very many side quests that were just thrown in for the sake of we need X amount of quests. So I think Elsewhere is a solid A rank. Elsewhere also gave us the free Hall of the Lunar Champion. It's an A+. It's either the best of A or the worst of S for me so far. So I think we have to throw it up an S because of Necromancers and like design choices. That brings us into Southern Elsewhere. Southern Elsewhere gave us more dragon hunts. I can't really rate Southern Elsewhere, having not fully played through the storyline. It adds the last piece of the Hall of the Lunar Champion. It builds off of the dragon hunts. Antiquities aren't in the game yet, so you can't rate antiquities on it. So I don't have a base. So I'm gonna have to trust other people, but I kind of feel, for me, without having done the story, it seems like in the same realm as Dark Brotherhood and Clockwork City. It looks like other people agree C. Okay, I'm definitely trusting other people on that too. People are saying C. So I'm going to put it there with C. I'm going to put it there above Murkmire, below Clockwork City. So I'm going to trust people who are saying C, which means the next thing we would get would be Greymoor. It added Kynes Aegeus Trial. It added the Horrorstorm World events, which were definitely things that you have to do as a group, or at least at the time had to do as a group. Improved. It took the vampire skill line, which hadn't changed since they added vampires day one, and it completely revamped vampire skill line. I really enjoyed Greymoor. Greymoor is what I played when I first moved to PC. Honestly, it's Antiquities for me that I think takes it up, but I'm going to put Greymoor at an A. I feel like Elsewhere and Morrowind were stronger than Greymoor overall. Greymoor definitely gets the nostalgia pop and fun, but Antiquities are what really carry it. Feel like it might be a low S or a high A. Antiquities added so much to all the existing zones of the game and added so much to every new zone that comes out. It gave us mythics for our gear. It gave us tons of amazing furnishings. It gave us outfit styles, costumes, motifs. Markarth gave us Vadishran Hollows as an arena, which I think is really its legacy. I thought the story in Markarth was much better. Overall, I enjoyed the story in Markarth more than I enjoyed the story in Greymoor. I thought it was tight and well put together. I thought it was a more memorable story than Murkmire. It's either the top of C. I'm going to put it at B. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B because of Vedishran Hollows. I think Vedishran Hollows is always a great addition to the game. Blackwood gave us companions. I think Leyawiin is one of the most gorgeous cities. It added in an element of humor I don't feel like Elder Scrolls always captures as consistently. It had quests where you help a paranormal romance author find true love with a Patrick Swayze-like ghost. It brought back fan favorite characters for the main storyline. It had an engaging storyline that made you want to know what the next part was. I think it's a solid A for me. Deadlands also, in addition to having the gorgeous city of Fargrave, had an amazing quest involving Dremora, which was a real nice departure from a lot of things we've dealt with before. All in all, I think it is the best smaller zone. I think I put it as an A rank itself. Deadlands is an A for A rocks. Vaferial's right. Deadlands is an A for A-Rocks. So if I was going to sort this, I think the top is right. I think Morrowind is the best expansion. I think it added the most to the game in terms of classes, in terms of new things to do. I think it goes Deadlands, Somerset. Honestly, I put Orcidium for its story and for Maelstrom Arena above Greymoor, even though Greymoor has antiquities. I put Orcidium just slightly above it. And then I think Deadlands above Imperial City. Dark Brotherhood adds the Blade of Woe. Dark Brotherhood has one of the most memorable cast of characters for me. It's the storyline that when I picked a story to do, when I started redoing things on PC, Dark Brotherhood was a must do for the story. I think Clockwork City edges out Markarth because Markarth's big addition is Vedestrin Hollow's Arena. But Clockwork gave us transmutes, and I think transmutes outrank it just a bit. And then the final rank is C rank. I think Murkmire, it just was so disjointed from the what should be the year-long story. But I do think it edges out the Thieves Guild because I felt like they could have done a lot more with the Thieves Guild. So yeah, at the end of the day, Morrowind and Elsewhere S, Blackwood, Somerset, Orcidium, Greymoor, Imperial City, and Deadlands are all A. Dark Brotherhood, Clockwork City, Markarth are solid Bs. And then Murkmire and Thieves Guild are C. Again, your personal taste might vary, and none of them are truly bad. And then the dungeons are their own kind of things, and they've all gotten better as time's gone on. And that sets us the stage for whatever the next one's going to be when the 27th rolls around. But yeah, please feel free to fill out the tier list, post it on Twitter, post it on Discord. I'm really curious what other people think about the DLCs.